Welcome back, fight fans, to another video here on the Fight Game. If you're any bit familiar with social media and boxing, then I don't doubt that you've come across this young 21-year-old who goes by the name of Ryan Garcia. He rose to fame with his Instagram videos of himself training in his garage, often using the Cobra bag to display his fast-twitching punches, as well as pads to display his lightning-fast hand speed. As more and more people viewed his videos, viewership began to soar. Theme pages shared his videos, and it wasn't long before his following began to match the likes of Anthony Joshua and Manny Pacquiao. If you had to rank his followers among active fighters in the sport right now, he'd rank number 4, just behind Joshua, Pacquiao, and Canelo. But this is boxing, not social media. And Ryan Garcia proves to be one of the most promising prospects right now in becoming one of the sport's next superstars. This new era of boxing is looking more promising than ever. We've got 3 heavyweight kings with upcoming prospects staking their claim. We've got multiple great fights to be made, and the sport is being appreciated more than ever by the submergence of modern media. But Ryan Garcia would seem to be a man who offers everything needed to become an icon in boxing. Movie star good looks, knockout power, and a long path still yet to walk. Welcome to this video here on the Fight Game, where we dissect the rise of Ryan the Flash Garcia and question if he has what it takes to become an influential figure in and outside the ring. So Ryan Garcia is age 21, he's boxed 20 fights professionally, 17 of those fights coming by way of knockout. He stands at 5'10", making him taller than nearly every opponent he faces, and he competes in the lightweight division. However, considering his young age, height, and large frame, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him mature through multiple weight divisions in the coming years, perhaps even to welterweight. He's a 15-time junior national champion in the amateurs, giving him that extra edge and skill over most professional boxers. He's trained by Eddie Reynoso, the same trainer of Canelo Alvarez. Canelo has appeared to be an influential figure for Garcia to look up to. Garcia's style is explosive, and it seems his knockout punch is simply the one that lands. A quick glance at some of his highlights, and we can clearly see the kid is something special. His punches are very eye-catching too, and he holds pure natural power. Let's take a deeper look into the style of Ryan Garcia. Ryan's fight last weekend was on DAZN, and it came against Francisco Fonseca, who he knocked out halfway through the first round.
Oh, and a left hand sends Fonseca down, flat on his back!
Ryan countered an oncoming 1-2 with an intersecting left hook, a beautiful counter shot that catches the opponent in the midst of their attack. This kind of counter takes a long time to perfect, as the timing has little to no leeway. A millisecond too late or a millisecond too early, and the shot simply won't have the same effect. As if Ryan Garcia's hook wasn't deadly enough, when combined with impeccable timing, it's simply become his signature shot in the boxing ring. Those of you who are familiar with this counterpunch may call it the check hook. Watch this throwback to when Mayweather knocked Ricky Hatton out with the same shot.
He's been stride for stride throughout his career. Check left hook. A check left hook right into it. You never saw it.
Garcia's left hook would seem to be very fast. Let's watch the fight before this one against Romero Duno. Garcia knocked him out in the first round as well.
Garcia able to land that right now. He's down, he goes!
And you're probably thinking that left hook didn't land. I know I sure did when I watched it live. Well, it would seem to be too fast to catch in real time, so let's slow the footage down. Even in slow motion, the shot doesn't even look like it would have had that much of an effect, as it had such little weight behind it. But any physics guru out there would agree that force is mass multiplied by acceleration. So although there wasn't much mass, there was a whole lot of acceleration, making that mere shot the making of a knockout. We actually have to slow down the slow motion shot to see the punch clearly land. Now you've seen the elements behind the punch slowed down, let's go back to real-time footage again. It's only now where we can appreciate the technicality behind that knockout blow. Ryan Garcia is fast, really fast. Is he the fastest puncher in boxing though? Like all things in boxing, many will agree and disagree. The likes of Amir Khan and Gary Russell Jr. have great arguments to be called the fastest boxers in boxing. But Ryan is a lot more than just fast hands. Take notice of these subtle tricks he uses in his fights to stop his opponents in their tracks. Ryan is pretty good at using his forearm in situations to block his opponent's vision while keeping them from coming forward. I don't doubt he's learned a few things from Canelo, because using that left forearm when in close is something Canelo is very good at. Another subtle trick he uses is sticking his lead hand in his opponent's face for a short second. This is a common trick used by taller boxers to disable their opponent's attack while keeping them at bay. And it also measures up for the right hand. In my last video, I actually talked about how Tyson Fury does this. These little techniques are used mostly by experienced boxers, so it's quite good to see Ryan Garcia use them at such a young age. Ryan is staking his name among those who are infamous for a mean left hook with the likes of Danny Garcia.
Go after him. Ooh, and he catches Ryan, but then he gets caught with the left hand.
The thudding impact is really present in both their left hooks.
And I can do this whenever I want. There it is, though.
However, Ryan Garcia's left hook is simply more explosive. While not much torque is generated in his hips, it's the whipping motion of his forearms that makes his hook slightly different from other boxers in the sport. And if you're a fan of power punchers, you may be familiar with the name of Julian Jackson. He's a personal favorite on this channel. His knockouts are truly some of the most spectacular in boxing history, and I couldn't help but see similarities between how both Ryan Garcia and Julian Jackson throw their punches. Take notice of his technique. That whipping motion is quite like Garcia's. Perhaps this is what Garcia's punches would look like if he weighed heavier. Now, don't get me wrong, Julian Jackson is a whole other beast compared to Ryan Garcia, who's still yet to prove his place among the likes of those great names. But maybe with time, as Garcia's style evolves and as he plants his feet more, his technique could begin to look more and more like Julian Jackson's. Some of you guys like these videos on upcoming fighters in boxing, and while it's nice to highlight their strengths, every young fighter comes with some technical faults too. In the Gervonta Davis video, we covered his strengths and weaknesses, so I think it's important to shine light on some things that Garcia doesn't do well. In my opinion, there's two things: having his chin up and dropping his right hand. Let's start with having his chin up. Many fans already notice this common mistake he makes. When your chin is up, your neck isn't engaged, so if you got hit, your head would fly back. Garcia has gotten away with making that mistake so far, particularly because he's been able to keep his opponents at range with his height and reach advantage. But if he came up against someone who's incredibly collected on the inside like Gervonta Davis, I'd be skeptical of how well Garcia would take such shots. Ideally, I'd like Ryan to fix this little mistake as time goes by, and I don't doubt he will, because remember, he is only 21 years old. He's got a lot to learn yet. For example, Anthony Joshua wasn't even a professional boxer at 21. The other mistake is dropping his right hand. Pretty much in every Ryan Garcia left hook, his right hand drops, leaving an opening. This is a very dangerous mistake to make in boxing. When you're punching with one hand, the other must be defending your face. This is common know-how for all boxers. But Garcia, like having his chin up, has gotten away with this mistake because of his height and reach advantage. You can be sure that boxers like Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis are very well aware of this continuous mistake Garcia makes. And considering he does it so much in training, it's quite concerning because it's such a basic mistake to be making at such a high level of boxing. But remember, he's 21 years old. He's still young and he will improve tenfold in the coming years. With such improvements, I do assume those two simple mistakes will be corrected. When Mayweather retired, we thought it would be a long while before we saw the sport in the limelight again. But right now, the sport is stronger than ever, with a stacked lightweight division, a stacked welterweight division, and a very entertaining heavyweight division. That's without mentioning other individual boxers who bring the prospect of pure superstardom purely based on their ring ability. I can't wait to see how Ryan Garcia's career unfolds. While before he expressed desire to get out of boxing early, I imagine that expression will dissolve as he comes closer and closer to the notion of the slim chance of being remembered forever. Two fights I'd really love to see is Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis. Those three boxers have great futures ahead of them because of their talent at such a young age. However, as long as Garcia and Haney stay out of trouble and remain disciplined, I see an incredible fight between both of them in the future.
Be me to become champ, right? Be me to become champ.
I'll get to you. I'll get to you.
Let's make it happen.
I'll get to you.
Make it happen.
Let's get that going. Let's go. I'm turned up.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a like as it helps us grow the channel. What are your thoughts on Ryan Garcia? Could he become one of the sport's next superstars? Let us know in the comments section below. We'll see you in the next video here on The Fight Game.